New Balance Kawhi 4. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Noah here from Driveway Hooper Reviews, and today we've got an indoor review this time on the New Balance Kawhi 4. Before we get started today, I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be timestamps at the bottom of the video, so if you're looking for anything in particular, whether that is the cushion setup or how the traction performs, you can go on and skip ahead through that. So the New Balance Kawhi 4 released this year, I believe, and it retails for $160. I was able to get mine for $50 at Scheels in store, so if you're looking for deals on this, I would definitely recommend heading to Scheels and looking in store for those. But starting off with the uppers of the New Balance Kawhi 4, we have a mesh upper. It's a pretty tight weave. Going throughout most of it. It's this whole dark gray section here running through the whole shoe, and then you have a few overlays of just like this cracked like fake leather. It might be real leather, I'm not quite sure, and I know other colorways have different materials on them. You have a toe ram here that is just like a thick overlay. I'm also not sure what it is. It might be felt or just like a thicker rubber. On the medial side of the shoe, you've got this like kind of swoop design going throughout with that cracked leather, and then heading to the back of the shoe, you have an external heel counter, and on the heel it says Kawhi in this colorway, at least in the red, and then you have a little bit of felt in the back as well. The tongue is a very thin nylon tongue for this colorway. I just wanted to make mention that the other 2 or 3 colorways, I can't quite remember, but the other colorways of the New Balance Kawhi 4 do have a thicker and more plush tongue. So if you're looking for something a little bit more comfortable and just like better overall for the shoe, then I would definitely say go for those colorways. If you want more breathability, however, definitely go for this colorway because this tongue is a lot thinner and will definitely hold on to less heat. Going up on the eyelets of the New Balance Kawhi 4, we have a speed lacing system, and these laces lay flat and they are pretty thin, so they won't irritate your foot too much. As for the heel padding in the New Balance Kawhi 4, we have a pretty decent amount of heel padding. You do have 2 little pods in the back where your Achilles would be, just to give you a little bit better lockdown, but it doesn't do much. We'll get into lockdown later. And then the material is just like this, I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like that retro fabric. It's got like an interesting texture to it, like how some older runners would have. I think the overall vibe for this colorway was supposed to be like a retro New Balance runner colorway. The insole on the New Balance Kawhi 4 is fairly thin, but it's pretty spongy and pretty decent, so I don't think you necessarily need to replace it, especially with the cushion that these have. And then the Strobel board on the New Balance Kawhi 4 is foam Strobel board as well. But all in all, how do the uppers feel on the New Balance Kawhi 4? They feel pretty good, actually. I really like them. The entire portion of it where this mesh is like significantly padded. It almost feels like the Nike LeBron Witness 7. If you've ever tried those, it's almost like a jacket. It's kind of weird, but it's nicely padded. You're not going to get a ton of breathability though, especially with the other colorways and the tongues on those being a lot less breathable. But all in all, pretty good padding and everything. It felt pretty comfortable. I had 0 pinching problems, which was fantastic. I hate when my shoes pinch on me. But yeah, I was pretty satisfied with the materials on this. Moving on down to the cushion setup of the New Balance Kawhi 4, we have a dual density fuel cell setup. I'm not exactly sure how it's formatted. It looks like there's some sort of this outside portion is acting as a slight cage, I guess. Caging for the actual fuel cell. You can see the words, and I should have it in the B-roll, but you'll have the words in gray. On that gray portion it says fuel cell, and this is full length fuel cell, and you do have a midfoot shank plate running through the forefoot, and it is carbon fiber, and it's supposed to be their energy arc system, so it is like an arced carbon fiber plate to give you just an extra amount of springiness. The court feel on the cushion setup is pretty decent. It's not horrible. I didn't really have any problems. I didn't feel like I was super high off the ground. So I thought that was pretty good. But all in all, how does for this might be one of the best setups for a basketball shoe I've ever tried. It is very bouncy. You get a lot of spring back. It almost feels like, in a sense, like a running shoe. It's really strange. But it is very good cushion. It feels like the Nike LeBron 20 almost, but obviously without zoom. The forefoot cushion's pretty decent. It's not going to provide like a complete, soft landing every time, but I thought I got the job done pretty well. And the heel cushion is really good. Just all in all, you get a ton of bounce in it too. That energy arc, the carbon fiber midfoot shank plate is super good. You get a ton of lift off and you just feel like you're ready to just jump out of the gym. It's a really nice feeling. Moving on down to the traction of the New Balance Kawhi 4. The traction is going to be this bladed traction pattern. It almost fans out. It reminds me of like a leaf or something in a sense. I know the other colorways in the midfoot portion do have dyed rubber, and from what I've heard, it doesn't perform as well as not dyed rubber, so just keep that in mind. But you've got all these little rectangles on the traction pattern. They all make up this nice bladed pattern. And then you have the New Balance logo in the heel, and the durability of the rubber is not great. You can move these around very easily, but the grooves are thick, so as long as you're not like a super heavy player or somebody that does a crazy amount of dragging, I think you should be okay actually on an outdoor court. But how does the traction perform indoors for the New Balance Kawhi 4? This is top tier traction. This is almost GOAT traction. I had zero slippage. I had just a great time with it. I mean, you almost never have to wipe. I wiped like once every 10-20 minutes, and that was optional because you definitely could have gone the whole session without wiping. The court I play on is not anything fantastic. It's just a wide court. And I also tried it on a vinyl court as well, and they performed pretty good too. I didn't have a ton of slippage either, but definitely it was better on the hardwood court. But yeah, the traction on the New Balance Kawhi 4 is insanely good. You come to a hard stop every time. There's a super loud squeak as well. Lateral traction is good. Running back and forth on the court feels really good. One thing I did want to mention was pivoting. Felt unusually smooth, which I just thought was strange because it doesn't seem like it would, but you felt very smooth when you were on the ball of your foot, pivoting back and forth, so that was actually really nice to see as well. As for the overall durability on the New Balance Kawhi 4, I think you should be okay taking these outdoors, and obviously indoors you'll be completely fine. The materials are pretty good on it. I don't see anything like wearing down too bad anytime soon. Maybe the traction, if you're just a bigger guy and putting more force into it on like a rough surface like asphalt or something, but otherwise I think you should be good to go for durability. Also wanted to mention really quick, I forgot to say this, but there isn't really an outrigger on this, so if you're looking for an outrigger, there isn't any. I didn't notice like really much of a support piece there when I was playing. Like I said, these things feel a lot like a running shoe, oddly enough, so if you're looking for something that'll really anchor you in and make it so you're not going to have that spill over and tear your ankle in half, these don't really have that. But overall, my biggest takeaways for the New Balance Kawhi 4, this shoe is amazing. The cushion and traction are top tier. This is like one of the best shoes I've tried in terms of that. The upper padding was nice and nothing pinched. The tongue was a little thin for this colorway at least, but it was still good. All in all, just a super fun experience to play in. That shank plate just makes you want to just jump and hit any sort of dunk possible, even though obviously I'm too short for that. Another big takeaway for me, and this is probably the biggest one, was actually the lockdown and heel slippage. These things had quite a bit of heel slippage, I'm not gonna lie. I would crank my laces like crazy, and there was still quite a bit of heel slippage. I played a ton in them, and I got a little bit better, but there was still a lot of heel slippage, which was too bad. But it was still manageable after you playing it, a few sessions. So just keep that in mind. Don't go out and buy these and then just jump into a game right after you bought them, because your shoe might come off. Actually, they were heel slipping quite a bit. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below of the New Balance Kawhi 4. Do you have a pair? Would you possibly pick them up? Because I think these are definitely a must cop. I mean, they perform so well. So definitely, if you can find a sale on them, I don't think they're necessarily worth $160, but if you can find a sale on them, definitely pick them up. But that'll do it for today. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so get me there, please. Get me there right now, and I will see you in the next one.